Yes, sir.
I like to speak.
Yes, sir. We're going to cut you to 3 minutes, if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Please state your name.
My name's Tommy Lewis. I'm the owner of that dog. Mr. Woods here told me when they arrived at the scene, they had to scrape that dog up off the road. Said it was a puddle of blood all the way around the dog, so that dog was mangled up. Said it had broken legs, broken ribs. Said it wasn't no help for it. Well, the lady that called y'all today, the other day about that dog being hit, called me. That dog don't look mangled up. It don't like, I don't see no puddle of blood, look be spot. This dog was alive. You didn't peel that dog up off the road, man. You shot my wife's dog, my son's dog. She's 26 weeks pregnant and been crying every day since. I got a little boy been crying every night looking for that dog. You don't know what you've caused me. You caused me a lot of pain because you like killing dogs. If there was a part of our family you had crushed it, you can blink your eyes if you want to, I don't really care. But in our family, we love our animals. They're part of every one of us. Is that dog bleeding badly? Is that dog mangled up? Is them legs ripped up, skin up? It's not. I give a picture to every one of you. You killed my dog for no reason. You've caused me a lot of pain. Y'all sat over there and try to hide it with each other. The judge is in the middle of it just as much as you are. Because Mr. Woods is a good guy. He wouldn't do nothing to dogs like that. That dog had to be in bad shape. That dog was not in bad shape. I had people right over here willing to fix that dog, and y'all knew it when y'all come in the office and do your job. If you can't do a job, you shouldn't be in office to do it. I mean, you might think it's fun to you, but it's not fun to me. When I had my little boy, I said, I promise you, I'll take care of you and protect you about anything. You stopped it. I couldn't protect you. I mean, this ain't going to go on tomorrow and quit for me. It's going to go on for a long time. I mean, this has scarred me and my family. I mean, you lied to me. And it shook my hand. Well, hey, all right, is this a lie? Look at the dog.
I wasn't there. I took the report from the officer.
Who shot the dog?
I shot the dog. Did you want me to go back and look at the blood first?
You shot the dog. You knew there ain't no blood all over his dog.
Sir, your time's up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Dragon.
Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect that I've got 4 people that are yielding their time. I won't take that, but I just want to advise you of that. The goal that I want to accomplish with you gentlemen today is this. I've showed you the pictures. The dog was alive. He was alert. In fact, so much so that when James Houchin arrived, after being called by Jennifer Judd, he called dispatch. The dog did James.
Sir, bear
Yes.
with me just for a moment.
Please.
I'll stop the timer. Who's yielding their time to you?
Karen Spencer,
Nancy Lewis.
her husband,
Me.
Missy, and the young lady. Yes. I'm sorry, I don't know her name.
I need it. Okay, we're done.
Thank you, sir.
The individual that called dispatch was Jennifer Judd. She found the dog. In fact, Jennifer actually went to the residence where the dog was at. The house is very close to the road. She knocked on the door. No one answered. It was only after she was made aware of this situation on the watchdog and by people telling it that she put 2 and 2 together, and it was the Lewis's home. I go back to what's on the watchdog with the infiltrated audio from the judge's office. in which David Wood said, look, we don't have time to go to these people's houses, we've been searched. I call that due diligence. You know what Melvin Gore says? Melvin Gore says, you may not hit the house where the dog lives, but you'll find somebody that knows the dog or where it belongs. He didn't do any of that. Will somebody explain to me how that James Houchin put the dog in the vehicle and told Miss Judd, I'm taking the dog to Blue Pearl. In case you don't know Blue Pearl, 24/7 medical facility, triage, but it comes with a price. It's expensive. May I remind this court that during the last administration, John Riley told the animal control officer, Melvin Gore, why don't you shoot the dog that had ringworm? Because he didn't want to have to quarantine the dog and go to the expense and the trouble. James Houchin tells this woman, I'm taking him to Blue Pearl. He leaves. But between the time that he left and the time that he was going to Blue Pearl, he called David Wood. And David Wood said, no. You bring the dog to me. I'll make the determination. James is 22, inexperienced, untrained. He doesn't know. He doesn't want to get fired. And what did David Wood tell James? He said, we're not going to put this cost on the county. You said, well, Travis, sir, how in the hell do you know that? Probably because I was listening to the phone conversation. Now, if you want to make sure that I'm on my mark, check the CAD reports with KSP because I called him twice. If you want to know where I'm talking about or coming from, go ask Major Tim Montgomery, who responded and was sitting with me during the hotel, who watched me take the bag out of the dumpster, cut the bag open, find the shotgun shell, find the dog. I examined the dog, took the pictures, posted it. The dog wasn't skinned up. The dog was exactly the way it is in the pictures that I showed you before this meeting. But you boys are country boys. You may take one human being and they will scream bloody murder when they're hurt. You take another one, he may not. Dogs are the same way. The end game is this. There is no way that David Wood knew the extent of the injury of that dog when he shot him with a shotgun. He didn't even have a damn .22 to shoot him. Blew his head off. And then you know what he does? He tells David Wood to go and to dump the dog in a dumpster. Okay. Why don't you dump him in the dumpster at the animal shelter? No. He goes to the courthouse. How is it that Lawrence Trageser knows the type of bag, the color of the towel, the weight of the chihuahua, that he's got his head blown off, and what dumpster within an hour after it happened? How is it that I know that? I might even have camera footage of him doing it. And then I got David Wood on audio saying, well, you see, what we're doing is, we're going to come back the next morning, and we're going to retrieve him, and then we're going to scan him for a chip. Well, then he changes his story. He says, well, we're going to get him, and then we're going to cremate him. After the fact that he's got a phone call from Major Tim Montgomery that night, and I'm sure John Riley, James, and David are all like, how in God's name did anybody find the dog in the dumpster on a Sunday afternoon? Now, I want to know why he put him in the dumpster. David says, well, we were preserving him. We didn't want the animals to take him away. But when I got there, the top of the dumpster was open. How many damn cats do we have in this city?
Amen.
Now look, I'll be the first to admit to any of you, I'm an ignorant landscaper. But you know one damn thing that I don't say? Is that I'm stupid. And I'm a hell of a lot smarter than the county judge and David Wood and the rest of these people. And I can smell shit. And that's what we're being dealt with. Cover up. Why isn't the judge sitting in this chair? Where's Jim Travis? Those are the two men that hired him. And I came before this court when you did, and I told you, don't do it. I told you, it's a matter of record. I told you, I warned you, and you did it anyway. Guy doesn't have any damn training. He's a supervisor in the sign facility in Frankfurt for the DOT. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get the CAD report. I'm going to get the timestamps of the picture. I'm going to get the phone records. I'm going to get his personnel file from Frankfurt. I'm going to be David Wood's personal proctologist. Let's end this crap. Be done with it. And next time, will you please do your due diligence when you hire an animal control person, anybody? Would you please do that?
Are you the only two remaining this one speak, would like to speak? Okay. Yes, sir, you first.
Good evening, everybody. My name's John Coots. I'm representing Mr. Wood. I'll be speaking on his behalf tonight. I'm not going to be quite as bombastic as some other people might be. I'm just going to get to some points on behalf of Mr. Wood. On the night in question, the dog was brought to Mr. Wood's residence. He assessed the injuries to the animal. I don't want to get too graphic with this, but it appeared that his back half of his body was immobile, that his spine appeared to be snapped. It was not falling in line. He discussed taking the dog to Blue Pearl, which is about an hour away from where he was. There was not a closer facility to seek medical treatment for the animal. Having made the determination that under the circumstances the animal would unnecessarily suffer, Mr. Wood euthanized the dog via gunshot. Under Kentucky statute, as an animal control officer, Mr. Wood is allowed to do so in the case of an animal that has injuries or physical condition which causes the animal to suffer. The bottom line is, Mr. Wood took no pleasure in having to euthanize this animal. Nobody wants to hurt any animal, a young dog, possibly a pet. Mr. Wood had no information as to the whereabouts of owners of the dog. There was no identification on the animal. Mr. Wood was simply left in a situation where he had no other choice but to exercise his duty as an animal control officer to put the dog out of its misery. I understand that Mr. Tregesser stands up here and talks about all this evidence he has, all this audio. Maybe I've got camera footage, this, that, the other. I heard this from so-and-so. I mean, he hasn't produced it tonight. We're not in a court of law. I would refer that a lot of that is hearsay. He can go on continuing to make some kind of case that he likes. But as we said here tonight, as to Mr. Wood, he did everything that he was required to do in his position, and he made a tough choice. And sometimes tough choices have to be made, especially when you're a public servant. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you guys for your time. I'm not here to pick on anyone, I just want to.
Please state your name, please.
Michelle Lawson, Kentucky Animal Action. We had an event earlier in February with 145 registered attendees who met with their legislators in Frankfurt So when I hear about events like this, I like to come out and try to see what's going on and maybe make some suggestions. It's my understanding that no laws were broken in this, and I don't know if anyone had malintent or anything like that. I'm not as versed in exactly what happened, but I'm understanding that there were no laws broken. And I would like to reach out and ask that there be some policies and procedures in writing in place for a situation like this, so that there's a protocol to follow, so everyone understands what exactly should be done. I put myself in their shoes, the family who lost this dog. My dogs are my family, and I feel like they didn't get the opportunity, and I'm not saying there was malintent there, but I feel like they didn't get the opportunity to make the choice. And now their family member doesn't have the chance to have a proper burial or cremation, and they have to live with knowing that their dog was disposed like trash. And that is very rough to think about. And again, I don't know that there was malintent. I just think that there wasn't a protocol in place to handle a situation like this, and there should be. And however that needs to come about, I think it's something that needs to be across the entire state of Kentucky. As you know, Kentucky has ranked in last place for 12 consecutive years. We did jump to 47 this year for animal welfare and protection because we got sexual assault passed last year. But anyway, I think there should be policies and procedures for this so that there is an exact way to go about something like this in the future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Spencer County Administrative Code, Chapter 8, Personnel Administration, Section 2. I'd like to read. Section 2 is interpretation and employment relationship. And what this paragraph says is, these policies are intended to provide some guidance on many personnel problems and actions which may arise. These policies are not an employment contract, unless the statute indicates otherwise. Employment at the county is at will. This means that employees may terminate their employment at any time for any reason without breaching an employment contract, just as the county can do the same. County employees acquire no property rights in or to their employment with the county. Because these policies are not an employment contract, the county may modify or interpret them at any time. Would someone like to make a motion concerning the employment of David Wood, Animal Control Officer?
I want to make a motion to suspend termination of David Wood, Animal Control Director, until the court meets an executive session per KRS 61.810, Section 1, subsection F. The reason is to avoid damage to the reputation of the individual whose actions may lead to termination.
Does anybody care to second that? Will the clerk call the roll?
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley, Squire Travis, Squire Jerry Moody, Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That is all we have today. Meeting is adjourned.
Well, we have to make a
Oh,
motion to
sorry.
adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. Clerk call the roll?
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley, Squire Travis, Squire Jerry Moody, Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody.
Yes.
Motion carries.